Hello folks, welcome back to Marvelous Videos. Today we are diving deep into Puckworld, a planet of hockey-playing ducks introduced by the 1996 animated series Mighty Ducks. The show was inspired and named after the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, an ice hockey team based out of California, and the live-action sports movie Mighty Ducks, released in 1992. Puckworld, a planet of anthropomorphic ducks in a different universe, is constantly under attack from Saurians, a race of reptilians. The series follows a group of 6 ducks protecting their planet from Saurians and other foes while beating other teams in ice hockey. Without much further ado, let's begin looking into all the characters that play an important role in Mighty Ducks. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. All the important characters of Mighty Ducks. Wildwing Flashblade. Wildwing Flashblade is named after the mascot of the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. He is the captain of the hockey team and was saved by Canard Thunderbeak from the Saurians. Thunderbeak was the one who formed the group of Mighty Ducks as resistance against the Saurians and was its first leader, but after his mysterious disappearance, Wildwing took over. Although Wildwing was initially reluctant to head the Mighty Ducks, he soon became an intelligent, brave, and fair leader. He is usually armed with a puck launcher placed on his left gauntlet and body armor. He also has the Mask of Duquesne, a powerful goalie mask that initially belonged to the legendary hero Drake Duquesne, who used it to banish the Saurians after their first attack on Puckworld. The high-tech mask is capable of seeing through the cloaking technology used by Saurians. Wildwing Flashblade is also the captain of his ice hockey team. He plays as the goalie, and his jersey number is 00. Ian Ziering voices this white-feathered character. Nosedive Flashblade. Nosedive is Wildwing's younger brother. He is a prankster and does not take things seriously. Because of his easygoing demeanor, Canard did not want him on the team at first, but Wildwing refused to join without his brother. Nosedive is childish and very impulsive. He often expects the protection of his strong brother, armed with a puck blaster. Nosedive Flashblade rides a duck cycle, which is a small motor vehicle with 2 wheels. Fans of the Mighty Ducks and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have observed similarities between Nosedive and Michelangelo, and deduced that Nosedive might have been inspired by the Ninja Turtle, voiced by Steve McCall. Nosedive is shown to have white feathers, like his brother. Although he lacks his brother's strength and intelligence, Nosedive is quick and agile. He plays ice hockey as a left winger with jersey number 33. Duke L'Orange. If this name rings a bell, that's because it's a clever wordplay on duck à l'orange, a French dish made of roast duck. Duke L'Orange used to be a notorious thief in Puckworld. He used to lead a gang of jewel thieves known as the Brotherhood of the Blade. After he saw the cruelty of Lord Dragonus, the leader of the Saurian overlords, he decided to give up stealing jewelry and reform to help Puckworld and its inhabitants. Duke is portrayed as a gray-feathered duck with a chip in his beak. Thanks to his criminal past, he has also lost his right eye, which he covers with an eye patch. Duke is skilled in lockpicking and is the most experienced member of the team. Armed with a golden sword he calls Duck Saber and a puck blaster, he is also seen carrying a grappling hook. Although he is egotistical at times, Duke is level-headed and is excellent at decision-making. His loyalty is often questioned by his teammates who don't trust him because of his past as a felon, but Wildwing has complete faith in him. Jeff Bennett voices this character with a thick Brooklyn accent. On ice, he wears jersey number 13 and plays the center. Mallory McMallard. Mallory McMallard was a commando in the Puckworld Special Forces, the military organization of Puckworld. This fierce redhead is a trained martial artist and a weapons specialist. Due to her time in the military, she is a strict disciplinarian and respects the chain of command. One of the first members to be recruited by Canard, Mallory is very stubborn and not afraid of giving her teammates a tongue lashing. Often, it's the immature Nosedive who is a victim of her sharp words. She is capable of taking anyone down in hand-to-hand combat, and her weapon of choice is a puck blaster. Mallory is distrustful of everyone around her, and it is not easy to win her over. She is easily prejudiced, as in the case of Duke, and refuses to consider gray areas when it comes to believing in people. To Mallory, people are either good or bad, nothing in between. Although she is a specialist in weapons, she hates machines and has a hard time figuring out high-tech gadgets. She is enthusiastic about her mission and will stop at nothing to get rid of the Saurians. Her biggest weakness is her short temper, but her loyalty and commitment to her make up for it. With jersey number 15, Mallory plays as the right winger in ice hockey. Jennifer Hale, who was recognized by Guinness World Records in 2013 as the most prolific voice actor in video games, voices Mallory McMallard. Tanya Vanderflock. Tanya is the smartest duck on the team and is an expert in science and technology. The team members, including their leader, Wildwing, trust her to give the best advice in any difficult situation. Tanya Vanderflock is armed with an Omni tool, a multi-purpose tool she wears on her wrist that can be used to fix or reprogram any mechanical weapon. She also uses this tool to defuse bombs. Tanya Vanderflock is unfortunately not very strong, but her intelligence makes her more than worthy of being on the team. This tech geek isn't very confident and is plagued by a lot of allergies. Ironically, she is also allergic to feathers. Because of this, she always sounds hoarse or like she has a perpetual cold. Her biggest weakness is her lack of confidence. Wearing jersey number 23, she plays as the left defenseman on her team. April Winchell voices this kind and gentle character. Czech Grin Hardwing. Czech Hardwing, who is called Grin by his teammates, was born with super strength. As a child, he was a spoiled brat and had a bad temper. Tai Quack Do, a grand hockey master, recognized Grin's potential and trained him. Tai taught Grin about the importance of patience and how to play hockey in an honorable way. Under Tai's guidance, Grin became enlightened and adopted the Zen philosophy of life. Although Grin is built like a brick house, he does not use his strength unless absolutely necessary, opting for peaceful ways to resolve conflicts. He also makes sure to control his anger, so that his judgment and mind are unclouded when he fights. On the team, he is Nosedive's best friend. Grin is wise beyond his years, and he avoids using any weapons. He chose 1 as his jersey number, as an homage to his teacher, Tai Quack Do, as Tai had the same number on his robe. Grin plays the right defense on his team. As a child, Grin was voiced by J.D. Daniels, while the adult Grin was voiced by Brad Garrett. Together, Wildwing, Mallory, Grin, Duke, Nosedive, and Tanya form the resistance against the Saurians. Now that we have discussed the strengths and weaknesses of the Mighty Ducks, let's begin learning about their enemies. Lord Dragonus. Lord Dragonus, the leader of the Saurians, is the biggest foe of the Mighty Ducks. After Drake Duquesne's attack, he is one of the last surviving Saurian overlords. He is a red fire-breathing dragon who will stop at nothing to conquer the entire world. This evil lord travels aboard his flagship, the Raptor, with his henchmen Wraith, Siege, and Chameleon. After Tanya and Grin destroyed the crystals that acted as fuel to the Raptor, Dragonus was forced to look for new and innovative ways to fuel his ship. Lord Dragonus is extremely cruel and will not hesitate to torture his minions if they don't measure up to his expectation. This evil lord has a massive arsenal of weapons, ranging from teleporters, blasters, rockets, rays, and cloaking devices. He also has Wraith, who is a skilled practitioner of the Saurian dark arts. But Dragonus has lost hope in the Saurian magic, and he only asks Wraith to use his powers if he has no other options. Dragonus is very strong and can blast mystic energy from his hands. The talented Tim Curry voices this Saurian. Wraith, one of Dragonus' cronies, is depicted as a wyvern. As we just learned, he is a sorcerer trained in the Saurian dark magic. He has great faith in their ancestral magic and believes that Saurians can only be victorious by using it. He is extremely smart and is second in command to Dragonus. With his intelligence, he is able to predict the outcome of their missions. Tony J, who is best known for voicing the villainous Claude Frollo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, gives his voice to this glum character. Chameleon. Like his master, Chameleon is cruel and evil. He has shape-shifting powers which he uses to spy on the enemies of Dragonus. Using his powers, he can also infiltrate enemy bases and sabotage their missions. As his name suggests, he looks like a green chameleon with shifty, lizard-like eyes. Although he can impersonate anyone he wants to, he wastes his powers imitating the celebrities of Earth. These antics of his usually land him in hot water with Dragonus, who does not tolerate foolishness. His incredible power is rendered useless by his stupidity and clumsiness. Sometimes, he can transform into a gigantic reptilian who rivals Grin in strength. You will recognize his voice if you love American cartoons as his voice actor. Frank Welker is also the voice of Fred from Scooby-Doo, George, the titular character in Curious George, and many popular animated characters. Siege. Siege is the strongest of Lord Dragonis' lackeys and despises the Ducks. He is a technological expert and is Lord Dragonis' weapons expert and military advisor. He is also smart and, like his leader, hates the Saurian dark magic. As a result, he detests Wraith and Dragonis, is more tolerant and open towards his ideas. Siege believes that only brute force and strength can help them in world domination. With his technical and mechanical prowess, Siege invents weapons to attack the Mighty Ducks. Grin is the only Mighty Duck who can face Siege in a fight and win. Because of this, Siege has an intense rivalry against him. He is depicted in the form of Ankylosaurus. This aggressive and cruel character shares his voice with Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants, as they are both voiced by Clancy Brown. Daddy O'Cool. Jim Cummings voices Daddy O'Cool, a beat poet who has an obsession with monster trucks. He used to be human and was transformed into his current self after he fell into toxic waste. To make the world a cooler place, he decides to dump toxic waste in the water supply of the entire world. He sets out on this insane mission with his men, Digger and Dragster. The Mighty Ducks foil his plan, and Daddy ends up in the toxic waste again, which transforms him into a 1950s insurance salesman. Later, cops show up and arrest him and his men. The Hunter Drone. The Hunter Drones are robots that act as soldiers to the Saurians. They are not that strong, but are equipped with blasters on their mechanical arms. The Mighty Ducks destroy them very easily, and sometimes in his anger, Lord Dragonis, too, has wrecked these cyber soldiers. The strongest of these hunter drones is a soldier named Tiny, who was created by the technological mastermind Siege in the episode titled The Ice Ducks Cometh. He is larger than the other drones, and the Mighty Ducks have a hard time defeating him, but eventually, Nosedive crushes him using a Zamboni. Dr. Droid. Dr. Droid made his first appearance in the Micro Ducks episode and was voiced by Charlie Adler. Dr. Droid used to be a human named Automaton, a clever pun of automaton, and worked as a scientist. Soon, he began to obsess over mechanics and machines, and converted himself into a cyborg by replacing his body parts with machinery. His mission is to destroy all organic life forms and replace them with mechanical alternatives. Dr. Droid is perhaps the smartest foe ever to face off against the Mighty Ducks, as he is so smart that he built his own army of gigantic robots called the Devastator Robots. He also has the support of J76412, a supercomputer, and 2 androids designed to look like women. Both the androids are named Trina, and they act as his assistants. The supercomputer is capable of controlling all the machines in Anaheim, where the Ducks live after a conflict with Lord Dragonis that kicked them out of their dimension and into ours. Although the Ducks have thwarted his mission twice, Dr. Droid remains motivated and escapes each time without any major injuries. Astaroth. The evil wizard Astaroth is from Anaheim, of a different supernatural dimension. The Mighty Ducks first encountered him on his house planet in the mystical kingdom of Anaheim. Astaroth draws his power from a green amulet that turns him into a huge red dragon. Because of this, he has earned the title of Lord of the Red Dragon. Many speculate that he might be the strongest villain that the Mighty Ducks have faced, as even without the mystical amulet, he can grow red dragon wings and use spells to attack his rivals. Astaroth commands an army of skeletons known as the Undead Warriors, and is always accompanied by his goon, Balthar, who is a homunculus. He is also a member of the Royal Immortal Knights. After their first encounter with Astaroth, when the Mighty Ducks evaded his evil magic to establish the Elf Prince Borg to his rightful throne, they also stole his amulet. Astaroth tracked them back to Earth, and as punishment for stealing, tried to pull their dimension into his. But Duke managed to destroy the amulet and defeat the evil wizard, after which Astaroth fled back to his dimension. He is voiced by W. Morgan Shepard. Phineas P. Viper. Lord Dragonus does not mind allying with humans or aliens if they help in his mission to conquer the world. One of his human allies is Phineas P. Viper, who is voiced by Xander Berkeley. Once an industrialist, Phineas helped Dragonis to build a super raptor. In the future, he is shown to be ruling the Earth and still helping Dragonis in his plans for world domination. Phineas adores snakes and keeps them as pets. His giant pet snake is named Boopsy. He is also shown to have merged bodies with his pet snakes, giving him a serpentine look. Dr. Wallace Wally Pretorius. Dr. Wallace Wally Pretorius is a textbook example of a mad scientist. All he wants to do is splice DNA into different organisms, without worrying about morality or the consequences of his experiments. He created the chicken monster by splicing DNA and wants to do the same with the ducks. His last name Pretorius could be an allusion to Dr. Septimus Pretorius, the villain of The Bride of Frankenstein, who was also a mad scientist with an interest in necromancy. Dr. Wallace works for the Royal Immortal Knights and is a fan of Dragonus. He was almost successful in harvesting the DNA of the Mighty Ducks, but was stopped by Nosedive. The Canadian-American actor Matt Frewer voices him. Falcone, voiced by Reed Diamond, used to be a member of the Brotherhood of the Blade and was a jewel thief just like Duke. Lord Dragonus offered him a job to steal jewels to fuel his ray gun. Falcone is very selfish and does not have a strict moral code. He acts only for the benefit of himself and is very untrustworthy. Duke had initially asked for help from Falcone, not knowing that he was working with the Saurians. After betraying Duke and getting him arrested, Falcone decides to keep the jewels he stole for himself and also tries to swipe the ray gun from Dragonus. Dragonus, anticipating his disloyalty, tries to kill him, but Duke saves him and gives him up to the authorities who arrest him. Lucretia Decoy. Lucretia Decoy is a purple-haired beautiful duck voiced by Kath Soucie. Lucretia is a treacherous spy as she betrays Puckworld to act as a spy for the Saurians. She introduces herself using the alias Vonda McDrake to the Mighty Ducks with the intention of stealing their weapon. Nosedive and Duke are smitten by her incredibly good looks and try to impress her. Other teammates remain oblivious to her scheme. Only Tanya figures out that Lucretia is a double agent, but before she can reveal it to her teammates, she is kidnapped by Lucretia. Wild Wing eventually finds out that Lucretia is working for Dragonus and switches the item that she is sent to steal with a lookalike. Unaware, Lucretia gives the weapon to Dragonus, and it blows up in his face. Dragonus assumes that she switched sides again and banishes her to the dimensional limbo for her betrayal. Dr. Swindle. Dr. Norbert Swindle, a corrupt scientist, was hired by the Saurians to manufacture a flotation device. When Swindle found out that the Saurians didn't intend to pay for his work, he decided to sell it to the highest bidder. In an auction, he receives a briefcase, which he assumes is full of money, from the highest bidder. However, it turns out to be Chameleon in disguise, who dupes Swindle by giving him a briefcase full of newspapers. This pathetic villain was voiced by Rob Paulson. There is also a running joke in the show where Dr. Swindle insists his name is spelled Swindell. Mondo Man. Alvin Yazbek, a nerd who loves comics, used to spend his time reading comics and pretending that he was a superhero. When Lord Dragonus found him, he convinced Alvin that the Saurians were good and were trying to stop the evil forces of the Mighty Ducks and save the universe. He gave Alvin superpowers with which he became Mondo Man. Dragonus used Mondo Man to incapacitate his enemies and do his dirty work. To defeat the Ducks, Mondo Man invented Ductonite, a radioactive egg that weakened them. He also stole Valerium crystals for the Saurians. When he completed all the tasks given by Dragonus, he had no more use for Alvin and so took away his powers. He was later arrested by the cops. Emperor Xyloid and Commander Xenon, both voiced by Jim Cummings. Emperor Xyloid and Commander Xenon are aliens that look like the abominable snowman. They intended to freeze Earth using their weather machine to make it habitable for their species. They make enemies out of both the Mighty Ducks and the Saurians, as the Ducks intend to save the planet, while the Saurians intend to heat it up to recharge the Raptor. Needless to say, Emperor Xyloid and Commander Xenon are unsuccessful in their mission. Marvelous verdict. So, these were the Mighty Ducks in the menagerie of villains. They battle to protect both Earth and Puckworld. Who was your favorite villain? The saucy Lucretia Decoy, or as she'd like us to call her, Vonda McDrake? Or is it the evil dragon, Dragonus? Or do you hate all the villains and would rather be in the company of the Mighty Ducks? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.